United States has been, in the months leading up to Hitler's aggression in Europe, content in its role as sleeping giant. Mired for more than a decade in the Great Depression, America is only now returning to a sort of normalcy. The public has no desire to get involved in a European conflict and is paying even less attention to Japanese aggression in Asia. But on 1 September 1939, the armies and air forces of Nazi Germany sweep into Poland. Hitler's blitzkrieg is a wake-up call to the world, and though most Americans still consider Nazism a European issue, President Roosevelt decides that the time has come for America to prepare for war. On 5 September, 2 days after Britain and France declare war on Germany, Roosevelt declares a limited national emergency and extends American naval patrols into the waters of the Caribbean and the seas around the Philippine archipelago. Ostensibly merely an enforcement of American neutrality, in effect, the added American patrols free British ships for duty closer to the front. In November, Congress, pressured by the Roosevelt administration, grants the president the power to sell American military hardware to foreign powers on a cash-and-carry basis. Overnight, Great Britain becomes America's largest customer, buying 95% of America's aircraft exports and 90% of its munitions and explosives. Roosevelt also begins a domestic program of increased production with an eye toward war. He calls for an increase in production of aircraft to 50,000 a year. That number is so outlandish that Hitler's Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, claims that Roosevelt is bluffing, and the Führer takes time from his busy schedule to pronounce FDR mentally ill. Across the full range of military hardware, factory output skyrockets. Production of fighter aircraft doubles in less than a year. The number of Garand rifles, the mainstay of the infantry, rises more than 300%. And production of tanks, which would be key in any attempt to stop Hitler's fast-moving armor columns, jumps an incredible 1,300% in a single year. This action by Roosevelt is not without political risk. 1940 is an election year, and Roosevelt is running for an unprecedented third term. Opinion polling, a young and inexact science, shows that even after the invasion of Poland, barely 7% of Americans believe it is wise for the United States to get involved in the war. Obvious to the president, however, is the tide of conflict currently rising all around the United States. There seems, in the president's view, little chance that the United States will be able to remain at peace while the rest of the world slips into war, and Congress has moved slowly into agreement with the president. By mid-1940, Congress approves the money necessary to build 200 warships, enough to put fleets in both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Finally, on 16 September 1940, Congress approves the Burke-Wadsworth Bill, the first peacetime draft in American history. Whether the public is willing to pay that price for what is still seen as a foreign conflict remains to be seen. The eventual tenor of public opinion will, in large measure, be decided by the aggressors. Their actions alone will prove whether Roosevelt's build-up is necessary or an overreaction.